Scene suddenly shifts to the kingdom where Javier is trying to handle the winter heart. To help him, suddenly Siluria uses fire magic to ease up the cold for Javier. Scene shifts back to Llyod where he is stabbed by the dagger of Worthrod. Worthrod explains that this is ancient black magic. This magic is a curse of darkness encroaching. That means if there is even a single bit of darkness in the human heart, this magic will increase the darkness infinitely and dominate the person, which will make him evil. Worthrod believes that Llyod is an evil person and this curse will corrupt him and he will destroy the world. Scene shifts back to Kim Suho. Evil Llyod begins to manipulate Kim. Llyod asks Kim Suho about the time he wasted in the Mermaid Kingdom. Evil Llyod asks Kim why he is bothered to appease the mermaid. There was a faster way of using Yong Yong, the dragon pet of Llyod. Dragon would immediately defeat the octopus. Evil Llyod continues and there was no need to ask for permission from the King of Mermaids because Javier could immediately defeat the mermaid and take the blueprint of the truth jewel. And finally about Toranga. Instead of making the process long, Kim could directly remove the castle and extract the Toranga. Llyod tells Kim that if he wasn't so foolish, he might have already completed Aotearoa, the truth jewel. Kim says this is foolish because a lot of people would be hurt. Evil Llyod tries to convince him that those people are not his family and Kim should not care about them. That makes Kim silent, but suddenly he starts to remember the image of his parents. This begins to increase kindness in heart of Kim. Kim approaches the evil Llyod and hugs him, and then Kim tells him that he is talented and he can solve everything without causing harm to anyone. Kim's good decision makes Llyod smile. Because of the goodness, the darkness spell breaks and evil reflection of Llyod disappears. Scene shifts back to the kingdom where the cold winds from Winter Heart is freezing everything. Llyod has came back to the real world from his trance state, and Worthrod is surprised to see Llyod unfazed from curse, because it means Llyod has pure heart, contrary to what Worthrod believed. Llyod turns back to Worthrod and beats him and tells him that he is the same person, both inside and outside. He doesn't have any evil side within. The freezing winter from Winter Heart freezes Worthrod. Scene shifts to Queen Alicia, as she begins to approach Llyod. She finds Worthrod in her way, completely freezed. She figures that the person who was behind all this chaos was the son of former Duke Thanos. Then the queen looks toward the corridor and finds Llyod walking toward her, with an ordinary worker on his back. He is saving the common workers from the freezing cold without caring for himself, which impresses Queen Alicia. Scene shifts back to the past, where Llyod is remembering a memory of his past, when he was Kim Suho in the real world. One of Kim's co-workers remarks that it's surprising that Kim didn't quit, considering the cold weather. Kim, surprised by this, asks if isn't it normal for Kim to turn up for work in such conditions. The bald co-worker laughs and responds, praising and saying Kim isn't the kind of person who would run away just because the work is tough. But Kim says, it's just that he's not in a situation where he can quit. Bald man responds that everyone has their own circumstances, but not everyone comes, and starts praising Kim for being incredible despite his challenges. The bald man is liked by everyone at the construction site because he is always smiling and cheering others up, even though he faces hard times himself. But one day, an accident occurs when construction materials fall on the bald worker, leading to a tragic incident making the bald man crippled because the safety equipment was old and worn out. The construction company and project management company refuse to take the blame. Llyod wonders why no one takes responsibility and remarks that companies claim the profits but run away when it comes to accountability. Scene shifts back to the present, where Llyod thinks that if something similar happens, he might be someone who would run away as well. Suddenly, Queen Alicia comes in shouting Llyod's name and grabs him. She hugs him and discovers that Llyod's mana is almost depleted and she wonders if Llyod gave all his mana to the workers. She is surprised to find out that Llyod has been enduring the cold with just his body. But suddenly Llyod says that there are 8 more people inside and Javier is in danger. Queen Alicia says that she will help him first, but Llyod insists on helping the workers first. Queen Alicia asks him to trust her and takes Llyod outside. She asks the people there to give some blankets to Llyod. People outside were wondering how Llyod survived in such freezing cold. Llyod thinks to himself that he used his tidal effect to survive even without mana, but the power is only immune to hypothermia. It's useless if the body gets frozen. Alicia goes back inside to help the remaining people. Llyod, in his mind, praises the Queen for helping the common people. Suddenly, the people try to stop Queen Alicia from going inside, questioning how she can risk her life for commoners like them. Queen Alicia tells the people to shut up, because if they were at risk, they wouldn't say that. Meanwhile, Llyod is outside and decides to rest a little under the warm sunlight, trusting that Javier and the Queen will handle the situation. He begins to remember pleasant memories of him and Javier. But suddenly, he realizes that Javier is not handling the cold well and there are still many people inside in danger, including Javier. Suddenly, Yong, the dragon pet of Llyod, arrives and decides to help, blasting his power in the freezing cold, but it does not work. With all hope lost, Llyod stands up and begins to move toward the Winter Heart Chamber. Queen Alicia asks him to stop, but Llyod has decided that he will help the people no matter what. He starts to use his power, and suddenly a title box pops up saying, "Supercharge activated." He begins to absorb the power of the Winter Heart within himself. The Queen asks him to stop because the energy of the Winter Heart is not something any human can absorb. But Llyod does not stop and begins absorbing all the energy within himself. Suddenly, the cold wind stops and Llyod is completely frozen. Now, there is warm and sunny weather in the palace since the Winter Heart has been absorbed. When the Queen looks toward Llyod, he is completely frozen. Javier and Siluria look toward the Winter Heart and realize that the Winter Heart has disappeared and Llyod has died. Guys, this series has not ended yet. Find out what happened to Llyod tomorrow in the next part. Subscribe if you love this series so you don't miss the next part. You will automatically get a notification when next part is out.